Welcome to Game Pass News, recorded live Friday the 5th, 2022. We don't normally record on Friday, but I was in Boston on a trip, and so today we plan to talk about Xbox Game Pass. They got a family plan going on. We got some stuff. Hogwarts might actually come out this year. That would be fantastic. Far Cry 6 is free to play and might be 60% off too. Huzzah! Let's get this show on the road. The buttons are doing the right thing. By the way, I'm Nick, and this is Sean. And Sean, speaking of you, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing really good. I wish I had the energy you came in with then. Jeez. You can tell you've had some time away from the kids and responsibilities. Even though you've walked like nearly 40 miles.
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah,
you
man.
are absolutely full of beans. That's ace.
Yeah, so here's the Huzzah. It was the funniest thing. Apparently, that's something that the colonials used to say. They would ask how you're doing, and they'd be like, Huzzah! They put their hand up in the air and say that. I had no idea that was a thing. There's all these buttons in Boston that have this. I had no idea that's where it came from. But there you go. You learn something new every day. We did walk 38 miles. I'll tell you why. Because Boston transportation, although it can get you pretty much anywhere, it doesn't get you there very fast. So like we'd search the thing and it would be like, you can take transportation and you'll get there in 30 minutes, or you can walk it in 25. And I'd be like, what do you want to do? And my wife would just be like, let's just walk. So we walked and we walked and we walked. Let me tell you, man. But it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So we had a good time. How about you? You were on a trip. You did a thing. You were gone. What'd you do? How was it?
Yeah, we went up into the heart of Yorkshire Dales. We learned some stuff. I went and walked around a brewery on one day. Learned all the history behind one of my favorite ales, which really surprises. Lindsay kind of thought she was going to be really bored for this brewery tour, and there's quite a lot of history behind it about two sides of the family that kind of separated, and then did their own thing, and now the breweries are literally, I'd say, not even half a kilometer away from each other.
Oh, wow.
And they just, and there's a pub in between, and the pub is owned by the other brewery, and they will not serve one of the ales in the pub still after 20. So this year marks the 30th year, and they still won't do it. It's like constant, instant divide. It's just I didn't realize that. And then as we all going around in different places and stuff, and there were little local pubs and stuff like that. It was still divided across the Dale. So one pub's going to have Black Sheep, and one pub will have Theakston's, which is the two sides of the family. It's hilarious. Had a great time. And while we were there, we renewed renewed our wedding vows, which was really nice. All the kind of stuff that came with COVID and having to be stay-at-home parents and stay-at-home schooling, and kind of as a marriage kind of pulled us in separate directions a little bit. And so we thought it was nice that after everything COVID-wise was over, we would go and make a pact with each other and stuff, which was lovely. We got some nice photos, had a great time, spent far too much on a bar bill. So we found a place called Grantley Hall in the Dales, which is really nice, really grand, stately home kind of thing. And we went there, didn't look at the menu, didn't look at the prices. But we were told by the person that came and did Lindsay's hair and makeup, and the photographer, and the person who owned the campsite they were at, that this is a really nice place to go. And we thought, we'll go check it out. £275 later, we had a meal and a bottle of wine.
Holy crud! What was more? Was it the meal or the one bottle of wine?
The meal for the meat part of the meal was £80, and the bottle of wine was £82. So tipped it by £2. So,
Gotcha.
But they were really nice because we turned up in all as Lindsay went in the dress that she wore, I went in all my suit and stuff like that. They were really nice. They gave us free champagne, and we kind of worked out that we had nearly £150 worth of champagne for free. So we didn't grumble at the overall. It was nice. It was great. We had a great time, really reconnected. And then we obviously came back to children and
Yeah, right.
such.
You're like, ah, darn it. That's right. Forgot about these things
So,
that we have
but
over
yeah, it's
here.
like we've got the weekend to do, and then we're off way to Scotland with the children. So it's gonna
Ah,
be fun.
cool, man. Like 2 vacations in a row almost. You can't beat that. Well, you guys looked fantastic. I saw the pictures. You guys were amazing. So.
Yeah, thanks to the Chubbies bracket, which we said we wouldn't mention again.
That's right.
I looked very dapper, so I
You
felt good.
did, man. You look good. Yeah. Well, you put me to shame. Like I was gonna complain about like $120 bill, but you put me to shame. I had on the last day, I went to the the Quincy Market Oyster House because I had to have a lobster roll. Everybody's talking about these things. I like lobster. I like seafood in general. I like food in general. I think we've got to that point already. And so I was like, I'll go here. I'll get this lobster roll. Holy, like $54 for a lobster roll and some chowder, but it was good. Or as the guy calls it, lobster rolls. I don't know. It must be. I was like, okay, I'll have one of those. If it's the same thing that I'm thinking it is, I'll have one of those. So it was great. We had a good time. But yeah. Anything else, sir?
Um, we went to a place called Steadwell Park yesterday. Took Logan out on a day out, which is not, it doesn't happen very often because we've got 3 kids, 16, 10, and 4. It's really hard to find stuff to do that kind of suits them all. But we had this like one freak day where like we could take Logan out for the day on his own. So we took him to this, it's like a really big adventure farm park, but they were having a Marvel Superhero Academy kind of event going on. So all the way around this enchanted forest area, there was like all the different statues of all the different Marvel characters. There was a meet and greet with a guy dressed up as Batman, and a meet and greet as a guy dressed up as Spider-Man. So he went fully dressed up in his Spider-Man gear, and he absolutely loved it. All the different, I've got loads of different photos. I think I shared one in the Discord with him, just sat on this barrel giving the big four statue a thumbs up, but like he really played the role really well of Peter Parker. He absolutely loved it. So broke a lot of rules because we weren't supposed to climb over the fences and be that close to the statues, but I was like, screw it. You only live once. Little
That's
kid
right.
really wants to enjoy this.
Right.
So like we've got loads of photos with him playing around on the climbing frames, or like the different spider web climbing frames with him going around pretending to be Spider-Man. So he had an absolute blast. He was absolutely shattered, bless him. When we got back in the car, like within 5 minutes, he was gone. He was asleep. So,
oh, that's the best. That's when you know it's a good day right there. Like you just conked him out. Way to go. Yeah. Speaking of breaking rules, let me tell you, over there, us rule for folks, like we pay attention to walk signs and all that stuff. Man, over there in Boston, they don't pay attention to none of that. Like we had just gotten off the plane. We were trying to get to our hotel. I hit the button. That's like the first thing. Like you hit the button to bring up the walk sign. That's when you know you're a tourist. That's what we found out. Like, but I'm like, I look back at Becca, and all of a sudden, like, a scad load of people are just like about to run me over. I'm like, there's a no walk sign. There's traffic everywhere. They don't care, man. They just walk right in the middle of the intersection, and then somebody honks their horn, and then there's usually a middle finger, and they just keep walking. Like it's fantastic. I was like, oh, I can get behind this. We were there by the end of the trip. We were like, all right, we were full-fledged Bostonians at that point. We didn't hit no buttons. We just walked, and they just waited for us, or else, I guess they would have run us over. But it's fantastic. It made me laugh so hard. I was like, yeah, you can tell we were tourists. We were waiting for a walk sign. Nobody's doing that over here except for us. So, breaking the rules. I love it. All right. So it's Friday. We have top stories, and I'm really excited about this one, by the way. The family plan, the Game Pass family plan has gone into test mode in Ireland and Colombia. Why they chose those 2 countries, I have absolutely no idea. But it hints that it will be $25 US, 21 UK pounds price point. You get 4 people, as I recall. It said is what they're planning. I think that's fantastic, man. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think it's really good. Yeah, I think it's really good because I use it. Jay uses it. My dad uses it. My brother uses it. That's 4 people. That's what is it? £7 a month? Is it just for console? As long as you get cloud involved in that, then I'm happy because I've actually rediscovered cloud gaming on my phone the other day. It's like the little park where we live has just opened up after like 7 years of being here. Um, and like I took Logan down to it. There isn't much for an adult to do park wise. There's just lots of open space for him to run around and play on his bike. So I kind of like sat there and I was like, okay, I've been sat here for 45 minutes and I'm pretty bored now of watching him do the same loop on his bike. So I kind of fired up my phone. I was like, I'll try cloud gaming again. So I played Slay the Spire for about 15 minutes, touch controls via the cloud, and it worked really well. And I was like, okay, this is good. I could get back into this a little bit now if I had a controller. So yeah.
Yeah. So this is the deal. According to Xbox Wire, this plan will allow up to 4 people to share their Xbox Game Pass Ultimate benefits with seemingly no restrictions, whether they're friends or family, or a combination thereof. Like I said, $21.99 UK, $25 US is what they're thinking. Also, if you convert your plan and you have months left, a 1 full month of Ultimate will be converted to 18 days of this of the family membership plan. That's the current conversion rate that they're looking at using.
I wonder if that stacks. So if everybody's already got Ultimate and they transfer it to the family plan, does that stack? So
that
then,
is
like,
a great question.
18, yeah, because you could kind of time that really well. Like, pick a day when everybody's got the most amount of days left, and just go.
Yeah. So I mean, it's basically half. I mean, it's not basically. It's a little over half a month. But so like if you got 2 months, you're getting around 1 month, 1 month free of the not free, but 1 month of the family plan. If you have 2 months of Ultimate now. So yeah, I mean that would be pretty cool. I wonder if they're gonna have special cards. You know, me and my gift cards, getting them on a Black Friday deal. I wonder if they have family plan cards coming out. See if I can get a Black Friday family plan card. So, and you know, to be fair, I say this, so I'll probably introduce Noah to it at that point. See if I can get him on this deal, and then I have a couple of friends that I could probably throw on there as well. Man, that's fantastic though. That's like math, and I can't do math. I just realized this. No, 625. That's 625 a pop. Did I do that right? I think I did. Yeah. 625 a pop is great for Ultimate. I mean, that's fantastic. I am super pumped for this. So
yeah, I mean, if for Noah you've got like there's Bug Snacks, which I know you weren't keen on him getting towards the end of the game, was a bit weird, but
more than a bit, let me tell you.
There's Donut Country. That's like a good kids game. I'm just looking through now very quickly, like the amount of different kids games, like Ember. That was okay as a
yeah. Well, there's Hot Wheels DLC. He'd love the Hot Wheels DLC, and I've known that for a while. He'd love the turbo golf thing that we're about to talk about. Yeah,
we'll get into the Hot Wheels DLC later.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. So I mean, oh yeah, we could totally find stuff, and it's great. You don't have to worry about like all of a sudden you give him this, and now you don't have to worry about like, do I have enough copies of that game? No, we all have a copy of the game. It's on Game Pass. It's fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it. So like right now, you know, he's saving up for Splatoon because I'm saving up for Splatoon, and we're all gonna have a copy of Splatoon and blah 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 blah. None of that happens anymore. $25 a month, boom. You got all the games. Everybody's got all the games. Don't worry about it. Love it. Anything else on the family plan?
No, like I said, as long as it still contains the cloud, because I think I'm going to go in that direction.
Unless they change something, all the ultimate benefit or all the Game Pass Ultimate benefits should mean cloud, unless they do a flip flop on us right before it releases. And I hope they just release this. Well, I mean, obviously they're doing a test, but like I hope this isn't like to insiders and then to whoever the next group is that I'm not part of. Just release it. Like, just let everybody have it. Just let everybody have it.
I will say is most of the stuff that the insiders get to test, it's literally like 6 months later it goes to general public. So
yeah, it's not too long. You're right. But I'm still gonna gripe about it, Sean. So it could be like a month, and I'd still be like, listen,
Give me that stuff.
Yeah, that's right. It's mine. I want it now. Give me, give me. Logitech is working on an Xbox dedicated cloud gaming handheld. All right.
Yes, this I can get behind because, like I just said, I'm keen on doing the whole cloud gaming.
Uh huh.
I'm upgrading my phone in November, I believe, to the 13 Pro Max,
Oh, nice.
which like that's what I'd like. That's the phone that Lindsay's got at the moment. And she's got it less a month as a contract, so I'm hoping to do the same. And that thing is huge. Like it's pretty good. So if I could get that to fit into a backbone or something
Mm-hmm.
without it looking too difficult, too excuse me, too what's the word I'm looking for? Cumbersome. Then I'd be super hyped because then like I could play it at work. I know we get 5G around where I work, so that'd be even better.
Yeah.
Um, or even just out and about, it's like that'd fit into most rucksacks.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. No, it's. I mean, I carry my backbone with me to work every day. I don't use it much, but I do carry it to work. Doesn't take up much space, so it's no big deal. I am excited about this. I think it has to be more than just Wi-Fi though. Like this is a streaming only platform. I feel like it's got to have some cellular connectivity. Like what you're saying, if this thing is going to be worth anything. Otherwise, what's the point?
it's having the decent battery life. So the controller needs to hold enough charge to keep the phone charged for a long period of time for you to play. So and that's what that's all about for me. And Logitech's pretty good. Most stuff that I've ever dealt with this Logitech. I mean, the little webcam that I'm using is Logitech. A couple of the third party chargers I use for my phones and devices is Logitech. So as long as it works well, it's really like isn't fiddly and finicky, and you're having to mess around to try and get it to connect and do this, that, and the other, then that's fine.
I don't know. So you think this is just like a controller that uses your phone? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think that's what that's going to be. I think it's going to literally be uh, Xbox branded
Backbone.
like backbone
Okay.
controller. Yeah,
Hmm. That's I. I mean, they're very vague. So you could certainly. I mean, I could be wrong. Um. I really thought it was like a handheld, like a Switch, except not a Switch, like like a Xbox Game Cloud Switch, basically. If it's just a handheld, I don't care as much. We already have the Backbone, and now there's the one that came out for Android not too long ago, which, by the way, looks way better than the Backbone. Just saying. The one that Tim got in and did a little
yeah.
thing for. Um, yeah, I don't know. I hope that it's more than just a controller. That's not groundbreaking, and I don't care. I hope it's an actual handheld. But it just says we've been banging wait, no. As someone so this is here's what Logitech's GM had to say on the device. As someone that grew up playing video games, the idea of being able to stream and play AAA games almost anywhere is super exciting, and we can't wait to show yeah, very vague. Like it could be anything. But I hope it's a handheld and not just a controller. That's what I'll say. So, but maybe it is. And at that point I won't care because I have the backbone. I can't imagine not doing that. We shall see. But we gotta I bet on it, but we gotta wait for the first bet. We gotta wait for Microsoft to actually come out with this whatever this, wireless dongle thing is that they keep holding off on. You
Yeah.
think
I mean,
you,
they're testing it in the most recent TV, so they've got to try and downscale that technology into something.
Oh, that's a good point. You think it's pretty much the same shindig, except instead of being in a TV, it'll be external, basically.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. It's already in the Samsung TV. I didn't think of it that way. But yeah, you're totally right. It's the same shtick. No
Yeah.
pun
And
intended. Or maybe.
Samsung TVs are the ones with the best in like inbuilt CPUs and stuff like that. So that's why you've got that and LGs, but just not my LG.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for that to come out too. That'll be I will snap one of those up in a heartbeat, no doubt. Um Sean, Xbox has huge sales numbers in fiscal year 2022 along with, everybody else. Um so there's that. But they said I went to the wrong thing. That's what they said. Um Sorry, I was trying to get what the quote was. Um.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for that too. I've got that page loaded up. I just can't seem
Okay,
to.
so 3.45 billion quarterly gaming sales. Annual revenue from Xbox reached 16.22 billion. Um, while it's down a bit on a rolling basis, it's the highest fiscal year ever for sales. For Xbox. Estimates around
Yeah,
77% from content and services. Basically, Game
Game
Pass,
Pass.
Xbox Live, all those things.
Yeah, I mean, what in this they're saying that in January, like the last figures that came out in January this year were that like there was 25 million people subscribed to Game Pass,
Hmm.
which is a ridiculous amount of people.
And Microsoft has confirmed in Q4 that there are more subscribers, that Game Pass subscriber numbers have grown further, but they won't give a specific number, which tells me that it hasn't grown enough for them to be too excited that they want to tell the general public about it. That's what I think about that. I don't think in this article they think it's around 30 million. I don't think it's 30 million. I think you'll know when it's 30 million because they'll be super excited and they'll let you know that number. But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So, but it is cool to see that Game Pass is growing. I can only imagine it's going to grow more once the Activision deal gets hammered out and knocked in and put in place and all that fun stuff. But I hesitate to see how much it will grow and how that will all work out.
Well, yeah, I'm just looking now. It's $10 a month to subscribe to Game Pass, and you've got 25 million people. This is a lot of money just from
Yeah,
subscribers.
yeah, it really is.
250.
So, as we were talking about before with the family plan, how much does it grow when the family plan gets put into place? You think you're gonna? So,
Well,
like, I would add people, like but I don't know if I'm the average guy or not. So, well, I would add one person. I'd add Noah. Noah is somebody who before was not a subscriber and now would be. But everybody else that I think I
yeah,
would get on the plan would already have been subscribers.
well, that's it. Because it can be anybody. This is where they've got to be really careful because they can lose nearly like $3.50 per person.
Yeah,
So if each of those people have got it for $10 a month, so there's four people all got $10 a month. That's $40 a month for Xbox. They get this family plan and I'll go, hey, let's just share it. Then we'll split it for 4 ways. $6.50 per person. So that's like you're losing $3.50 per person then, which if you do it that way is 3, 6, 9, 12, nearly $15 down per
well,
month.
actually, you're losing more than that because as we read, you're getting Xbox Ultimate Game Pass Ultimate benefits. So that's like $15.
Yeah.
So you're actually losing like $8.50 a person. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
which is a lot if you for a company to lose 850 was 8.5 $34 a month
yeah.
over 25 million people. Yearly, if you want to do it as a yearly subscription, that's 850 million.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, that's cutting out a big chunk of your change, especially when we're fairly certain that Game Pass is not at this point profitable.
Yeah,
So yeah,
but the thing that they do get is how many of those people are going to go from having it on their own to sharing it with one person and pay $10 more, say.
that's true. Yeah, yeah,
So there's that. There's a fine balance. I know business Justin would probably jump in here and say, "Meh," and do it like and justify the risk and the gain and the loss
Mm.
and everything in between. But it is a risk. It's you potentially lose money, but we've seen Nintendo do it. They probably think this is a great idea for people that want to share it, and there is that possibility that we're going to get a little bit more for the people that might share it with just one other person.
Right, like me, like all of a sudden Noah will have an account and have Game Pass. So.
Yeah, but then there's also nothing stopping you, like, kind of bumping elbows with Tim and say, "Hey, you and Sammy play Game Pass games. Do you want to,
yeah,
just
I'll do that
me
with somebody. I'm not gonna eat the other eat the other cost for the two people. Like, I mean, I'll find somebody around here who wants to split it with me. Yeah, for sure. I mean, for sure, we'll find somebody to split it. You're gonna have discords that people on Discord, like you're saying, get together and share that cost. It only makes sense that you would do that, for sure.
Yeah, I know for a fact that in the party chat in our Discord, when the Nintendo does, it'll soon just go, "Hey, yeah, well, I'll jump in. Here's my email address, or here's my gamer tag, and
yeah,
I'll just PayPal you the $6 a month."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's an interesting deal. See how it affects their numbers, but it's consumer friendly, so I'm all down for it. It certainly helps us out. So I think it's a win for us. We'll see if it's a win for Xbox and Microsoft as well. News bulletins really quick here. Hogwarts cinematic trailer leaks. So the only reason this matters is maybe it is actually still coming out this year. I was fairly certain it was not. So it doesn't mean it will. It doesn't mean it won't. But maybe that means it will. So I'll go with that.
I mean, if the images that we've seen are anything, because I didn't watch it literally prior to just getting ready to do the podcast this evening. If the images that we're seeing for it are what they're going to be, then I'm quite excited. It's quite good. I mean, like the last Harry Potter game I played was PlayStation 2, where you get the polygon Hagrid. So that was the last Harry Potter game I ever played.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm quite excited for this. The character customization looked really good. There was lots of different variants that they showed off, So yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more. As I said, I will buy Skull and Bones, or I will buy this. I'm not certain which. I'm leaning towards this one at the moment, for a lot of reasons. I think Skull and Bones might get a little too like online competitive, and I just get annoyed with it. So, but I'm buying one of these games, so we'll see. See which one it is.
Where Hogwarts Legacy is literally bully with wands.
And I loved Bully, so I'm all in. I like Magic and I liked Bully, so let's do it. Sounds good to me. Next news bulletin, Series S just got a bit more powerful thanks to a June update. Hundreds of megabytes. This is not this big of a deal. As I was like reading it, I was like, this hundreds of megabytes of extra memory available. I mean, hundreds of megabytes must mean that it's not 1,000, or else they would have said like, hey, there's a gig of extra memory here. So it's somewhere between like 200 and less than 1,000 that you're getting extra. But I don't think it's going to change the world.
Not going deep into it, I believe they just stripped back the power and the memory needed to run the actual system.
Yeah.
Which is giving you a little bit more random access memory. So you've got a little bit more RAM to play with.
Yeah.
So that means that games might load fractionally quicker. But yeah, but I mean, that's great. I was sat doing something with Jay's Xbox last night. She's on the Xbox One S, and she was having issues with Minecraft update. It kept saying it was updating and then would stop and then say failed, wouldn't let her launch the game. I kind of started finally to get sorted that out. Her memory was almost full on the actual console. She was trying to update Ark Survival, which was a 138 gigabyte update, and she had like 20 gigabyte left. I was like, do you play that game? So deleted that, got rid of it.
That was a good choice.
Everything then worked. And she launched it. It kind of came up with a Mojang red screen and then went black. And I'm like sat there and I'm thinking, this should have loaded by now. I don't think it's worked. She goes, oh no, it usually takes this long. literally took 7.5 minutes to go from the Mojang screen to black to the game being loaded. I was like, wow.
Crazy.
I really need to buy you a new Xbox.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So,
and which version of the Xbox is this?
she's on the Xbox One S.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it went with it's the white Xbox One. So Xbox One, One S, then the One X, and then it went Series X and S.
Oh. So not that far
So
back. Not really. I mean, not on the grand scheme of things.
far enough back for it to be trying to run next gen dashboard and everything. But
Yeah. I love my S. I will say when I'm playing Fall Guys, I get in and out of stuff way quicker on my S than when I'm playing on the Switch. Like it really is kind of a slog on the Switch, especially when you go from one to the other. It just feels so much snappier. So yeah, I'm a big
yeah,
fan.
the only downside I've got is that she's got quite a lot of games. Like she's got the Tomb Raider series on disc. She's got a couple of old wrestling games that she likes to play from the 360 era on disc. So it's kind of like the S would be great, but she wouldn't be able to play those legacy games that she likes. So
Yep. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I get it. Works for some, doesn't work for other. Far Cry 6 free to play from August 4th. So, like, from yesterday, if you're listening to us now.
yeah,
If you're on the podcast, you better hop on quick because it's about to be over. To August 7th. And if you love it so much you want it, it's 60% off right now. It's a pretty good deal. Fairly new game. Less than a year old.
Yeah, because I was so tempted. If I had enough time to play it, I was so tempted for the 60% off just to do the Stranger Things update.
Mm-hmm.
As like anybody who's watching the video, I am a big fan. But I don't have the time to commit to that. So not at the moment, and not with the kids off going on holiday and so on and so forth. So
yeah, I do totally get it. I would be tempted if I didn't have Far Cry 5 to play. And so it's like, well,
yeah.
I'm not playing Far Cry 5, so what's the likelihood I'm going to buy Far Cry 6? So, and it's not
Was
that
this
I don't
was
like
this
it. I just have other things.
is this a sneaky ploy though? Because they dropped Far Cry 5, wait a month, and then say Far Cry 6 is free to play. And if you want it, you can get it for 60%. Is this a Ubisoft trick?
And then they're going to put it on Game Pass, you mean?
Well, either that or just.
Oh, you mean
is this
just
a way
giving
of,
people a taste of 5 through Game Pass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's
Yeah,
a taste
probably.
of the next, because 5 was a next gen version. So here's a taste of the next gen version from 4. And then look, here's 6. This is the newest one that came out less than 12 months ago. You can have that. There you go. Have a play, see what you think.
Yeah. No, I could, yeah, 100%. I didn't thought about that, but you're totally right. That's exactly what this is. But that's cool. I mean, 60% off is a pretty steep cut. So, yeah. Sean, you take the next one because I have no idea what's going on.
So Dead by Daylight, which if you haven't played it, is a PvP style game where one person plays a killer, the rest of the people play survivors. It's been a big hit with the whole Jason Voorhees crowd, things like that. There's Silent Hills, Triangle Head in there. There's a couple of other horror movie, like cult horror movie people in there. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre might be in there as well. They have teamed up with Capcom and are now doing a Resident Evil Project W update where there is one new killer, which I believe is Chris Wesker, and 2 new survivors to play as, all within a reworked Raccoon City Police Department map. So anybody that enjoyed Resident Evil 2, the remaster, this is a free update, I believe, that's coming. You can get Dead by Daylight from Game Pass. So yeah, I know my brother's going to be excited for this, and I know my friend Andy Warren, Super King Andy, is going to be super hyped for this as well. I know he plays Dead by Daylight, so his streams will probably be covering a little bit of this action as well. So yeah,
Nice. Keep going. You just finish this off.
Sea of Thieves season 7. Season 7. This is why I shouldn't finish it off. I can't speak. Sea of Thieves season 7 is now live. Everything that we saw in the showcase about being able to name your boats, other bits and pieces is all now live. So if you're a big Sea of Thieves fan, go make sure your game's updated. Go and sail the seven seas, season 7, and name your boat. And anybody that comes up with any interesting boat names, please send them to us, and we'll shout them out on here because it's always a good laugh.
I like it. I like it a lot. Can you have multiple boats in that game? Is that how that works? I mean,
you have multiple sizes of boats. So depending on the amount of people that you're playing with, you can have 3 different size boats, I believe.
Okay. All right.
One does 1 to 2 players. Another one is like 2 to 3, and then the last one is 2 to 4 players or something like that. I think. Don't get me wrong on that.
Cool. I won't quote you, I promise.
Yeah.
Which is also why I should get Hogwarts, by the way, because there's this pirate game that's like supposed to be amazing that I don't play. So this is also why I should get Hogwarts. I mean, I'm not playing this pirate game. What's the likelihood that I'm going to buy Skull and Bones? Anyway, sorry.
No, it's fine. That's the only reason why I wouldn't get Skull and Bones is because you need a crew of people to play regularly. Like Sea of Thieves, you can play on your own, but it's very difficult and very slow.
Yeah.
Where with a group of people, it is a lot better. And then the last one on the list for news bulletins is Forza Horizon 5 has got yet another little update, which is running through to August 17th. And that's the off-road racing series, the Extreme E, which if you're into your back-car style rallying, they're using all the electric cars from that series now that are all there. I know Team 44, which is Lewis Hamilton's racing team, I know their car showcased in that. And that's free to play up until through to August 17th. So go give that a go. That's what you think. It's a bit weird playing a racing game and using an electric car. So,
what's the difference, Sean? Like, do you notice a difference? Like, I mean, I don't understand. Like,
there's no engine sound.
Oh,
which when you for somebody that's played a lot of racing games and you kind of listen to the engine sound for like how fast you might be going, or depending on the gear that you're in. When you don't get that, it's quite difficult.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah.
So for a small amount of time in the Hot Wheels update, the fastest car I could use was like a Porsche Taycan E-Series car that I had, and it was ridiculously quick, but it kind of had no engine noise. So you're going along this Hot Wheels track where there's no real road noise because you've got rubber tires on plastic track with an engineless car. And the only noise you've got is wind noise.
That's pretty fantastic.
It's just really weird. So,
yeah. Acquisition watch. Okay, this isn't anything that big. They're just trying to get their acquisition approved in multiple countries. I just thought this was funny. They kind of put themselves in a quandary pickle, little PR pickle, when trying to prove that their acquisition of Blizzard was not going to shake the industry too much. They told I forget which country this is. They told the authorized body, specifically with respect to Activision Blizzard video games, there is nothing unique about the video games developed and published by Activision Blizzard. This is Microsoft talking, by the way. By Activision Blizzard, that is must-have for rival PC and console video game distributors that could give rise to foreclosure concerns. So it was Brazil.
that was the New Zealand Commerce Commission as well. So it's kind of like the targeting that PR release just to one country, and it's one tiny country in the grand scheme of things. And been like, look, we're not doing anything weird.
Yeah.
We aren't buying out the monopoly of the games that are being made by people. It's just we want to buy this one.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I get it. And they're not wrong. Like, there are other first-person shooters and blah, blah, blah. And I get what they're saying. But it's just really funny that they basically had to crap on the acquisition, the company they wanted to acquire to, like, prove that it wasn't a big deal. So I just thought that was really funny.
There's absolutely nothing unique about them apart from they have kind of capitalized on the first-person shooter market for the last 6 years running.
Yeah, it's just great. It's like, listen, this company doesn't matter. That's why we paid $70 billion for them. Okay,
what's this other first-person shooter game people play that's like focused on war? Battle what? Battlefield? Yeah. Okay.
It's funny. It does mean though that it as Phil said it's moving forward. They're in what he calls the final stages, which that could be quite a few months, and that things are progressing. I guess is the best way to say it. So that's good. Always good for a laugh, I tell you.
Which is nice because I can't wait to talk about that list of games that none of us are going to be interested in.
No, it's so bad. Oh, that was a real bummer when I started to look over that list and realized I'm not really interested in any of these. Well, all right, whatever. They need to acquire Ubisoft next. There you go. That's who I want.
It's for the greater good.
That's right. All right, on to the Xbox Spotlight. And I realized I took all the time to fix these buttons and I missed the top stories button last time. So on to the Xbox Spotlight.
Ain't it great when technology works?
Yeah, well, and then I got to work it. That's the problem. Like, I got it fixed, and then I got to remember to push the buttons after I fix it.
You were just too giddy.
Yeah, it's true. I was. Yeah, Stream Deck, thanks, by the way, for updating and changing how that works, and then, pissing on all of my hard work and making me redo it. Really appreciate that, Stream Deck. All right, I will go first because I have one game and one game alone. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Shout out to Nintendo UK, by the way. Gave the Nintendo dads a code who were so kind to give it to me. On their channel right now is a Let's Play first look of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm a newbie to this game, Sean. I mean, I basically knew what I was getting into for the most part, but I got to tell you, once you can grasp the fact that the basic attacks, like your base attack, you don't have anything to do with. You just kind of get close to the enemy, and he swings his sword automatically. You can start to wrap your head around it. And then when you want to do the stronger attacks, there are buttons to do those, but it matters where you're placed with the enemy to how much damage you're going to do. Or is the enemy toppled or dazed, or has he broke his attack? And there's just so much stuff going on. Kudos to the game for great voiceover, for fantastic cinematics, for a tutorial that a newbie like me can wrap my head around and understand. They did a fantastic job. My only complaint really is the one-liners are annoying, old school annoying. You finish an easy battle and this one girl just keeps saying, "Lance wants something a little bit more meatier." And she just says it every time you do an easy battle. It gets really annoying. But minus that one snafu, which they could patch out pretty darn easy, either add some more one-liners or vary the amount of times that these are all said. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm really enjoying it. The story is the story is poignant for our times. I mean, it really does point out the futility and tragedy of war. It's just these warring factions. Sorry, I don't know what's going on in my house right now. Something upstairs. There's a lot of yelling. There are these two warring factions. Oh, maybe more than two, but there's warring factions, and they only live for 10 years, and when they die, their energy gets sucked up to this thing, to this flame clock. It's a weird story, but the cinematic cutscenes do a really good job of helping you understand it and wrapping it all up in a nice bow. I mean, I am only 15 hours into this thing. It's all I've played it on the plane to Boston and back, and when I'd get home when we get back to the to our Airbnb, I'd play it for a little bit too. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it, but that is all that I've been able to get to so far this week.
Where on the other hand, I seem to have played a lot.
You made up for me. Thanks, I appreciate it.
And no Switch, which is interesting. So last week I talked about the Hot Wheels DLC and that I'd started it, got a little playtime with it and bits and pieces. I have now done all the main missions that you need to do to kind of unlock everything. So you go Rookie, A Class, S1, S2, X. For anyone that is used to the franchise in the game, obviously the higher up you go. So S1, S2, X being the most powerful, prestige, fastest cars means that I can now drive that level of cars around on the Hot Wheels track, which is a hell of a lot of fun. I unleashed the Mercedes AMG one on the track and took it through the fastest section, which you go out of the like Hot Wheels event center. You drop down this big hill. There's like these big wind tunnels that reduce the amount of drag so the car can go faster. And then it drops like really steep down, hits a magnet track and things like that. And I was close to 300 miles an hour in this thing in a straight line.
Fantastic.
And then you do a loop. Then you do a loop the loop.
That is
And
fantastic.
it's crazy. I have absolutely enjoyed this. It's been great. It's been a really nice reimagining of Hot Wheels with all the nostalgia and learning the history through all the different events. The Goliath is fantastic. It's not a very long late race. It's not the full 10 and a half, 11-minute race as it was in Mexico. Um, but it was still long enough. I think I finished it in 5 minutes 40 something, which I got a nice achievement for that. Less than 1% of people have done it under 6 minutes,
Nice. Kudos, buddy.
which was nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, just fully enjoyed it. There's still loads for me to do. Each of the ranks, I'm like at 90 something percent, apart from the last one. So I've got to go back and kind of redo all the races, but on certain difficulty modes to make them really hard. So still got bits to do if I want to jump in and out. But for now, I've kind of put it down. I got my wish. I got to race around in the Bone Shaker monster truck, which was nice for one of the challenges. You got to race around in the monster truck, which was great. Logan absolutely loved it. That's his favorite of the Hot Wheels monster trucks and the Hot Wheels cars. He's a big fan of Bone Shaker, so he enjoyed that. But it's only very short lived. It's like 2.5 minutes of driving in this monster truck. So I'm kind of hoping that if they do further car packs, that is one of the packs that you'll be able to get.
Sure.
So
that's awesome. Yeah, no, it's been fun to like listen to your messages about it and everything. So I just think it's great that you had so much fun with it. Yeah, and I'd really like to show it to Noah. I think he'd love it.
Yeah, definitely. If he's a Hot Wheels fan, and the fact that the tracks are endless, there's like, and there's things in it. So there's like a couple of dragons in places that kind of like just hang over the track, like the Hot Wheels sets and stuff like that, which is really cool. Like they kind of like as you drive on the rim, they open the mouths and like move down a little bit, but like don't quite hit the track for you to hit them. So
that's awesome.
You get that feeling of being on a Hot Wheels track,
cool.
Which was nice. The other game I've been playing and I have completed is Playdead's Inside. I did a little bit of a tweet about the game. I played it as a mobile game for the first time, a bit like Limbo. I didn't play Limbo on the console first. I played that via mobile. This game played really nice on mobile, but plays even better on a console. The graphics are really smooth. The gameplay's really like I'd go as far to say it's buttery. The controls, there's no jerkiness to it. Controls are really responsive. There's no tutorial to the game, so you're kind of like learning on the fly how to grab things, how to manipulate the environment to solve the puzzles. It sounds great. I wore the Astro A50s for a little bit, so the surround sound was really nice for the sounds and the ambient music. It's a very, very weird game. So you're basically playing a little boy in a red t-shirt who's kind of trying to run away from guys that are kidnapping him, and you eventually work your way through different stages into a factory, and you realize that the factory are making these people that are mindless people that are controlled by them, and you eventually end up like turning into something else towards the end of the game. It's a bit weird towards the end. But the last 5 minutes is a bit kind of a big blob of people all glued together. So you have various arms and legs.
So is the game like Limbo, where you like are trying to live and you die a lot? And
yeah, it is. There's lots of, not as much as Limbo. There's not as many traps to get you as Limbo, but there's a couple of puzzles where like there's a water section of the game where there's a girl that's in the water with really long hair that grabs you and drags you down, and you've got to kind of like work out how to as soon as you hit the water, she starts coming for you. So you've got to kind of figure out how you can get past certain points without being in the water for too long, and kind of lead her in different directions. So you give yourself more time. What else was there? There was one. There's an elevator puzzle where you've got to kind of control a group of people, and get them to kind of help you get more people to get them all positioned on a switch to open some doors. And that's the longest puzzle in the game. But the rest of them are really, really self-explanatory, but also difficult. You can miss things because it's quite a dark game. You can miss things quite quickly. But I enjoyed it. I think I finished it in 2.5, maybe 3 hours total. So it's not a very long game. But it's replayable. So the stuff you can, like, as soon as you finish the game and you see the end credits, it literally starts the game again.
Oh, really? Wow.
So yeah. So a change of pace for this. I went and tried Power Wash Simulator.
I feel like everybody has to at this point.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people that were saying it was great. It's got some kind of zen to it. For me, it hit the same issues as the lawnmower simulator. It's like I'm sat inside doing something that I actually need to go and do outside. And was That's like, fair. It became very boring very quickly.
You were telling me even Logan was like, Dad, this is boring.
Yeah. So I did the tutorial level, which is you kind of jet wash the van that you then use as your van to go to the different jobs. I sat and did that in front of Lindsay. It literally took 10 minutes, but she was like, that's like 10 minutes of my life. I'm not going to get back watching you do that. Thanks very much. I did that one. And then and then I did the backyard, which took literally 1 hour and 20 minutes of real life time to clean this backyard.
This is horrible. Why do people want to do this? I don't understand.
I don't know. It must play really well on PC because I found with, like, there's 2 different views you can use. So you have the, like, normal strafe view that you do for any first person, and then you can change the view, which isn't really changing the view. It changes how it controls. And you stand still more, and you kind of just move the power washing gun up and down and around, and you can spin the nozzle. So you, like, if you've got a wider spray, you can have it horizontal or vertical, which does help a little bit, but it just got really tedious going backwards and forwards. I was like, no. But I've done 3.5 missions. I started the bungalow one, and that's at the point where Logan was like, "No, this is boring. You need to, like, we need to do something else." And he was like, "Can we go and sit in the hot tub?" I was like, "Sounds like a good idea. Let's actually go and sit in our garden."
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, Ninja Lunchbox says it's a chore simulator. Totally right. That's exactly what it is. I don't entirely get it. I played the lawnmower one. I thought it was, okay, but and we're actually going to talk about another one here in the GPN showcase. There's another simulator coming out. All the Simmy Sims, I tell you.
Yeah. I mean, they must, I don't know. I've never watched anybody play them on a stream, so I can't even say they make great content for streaming, because other than if you're just chatting away and you kind of just playing this game in the background.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, otherwise it's like, I think I did play it on stream if I recall correctly, and it's just like, oh, I missed some grass, gotta go back and get that grass. Oh, I cut those flowers on accident, so
yeah. And that's the other thing that this is missing, that, like, when you're jet washing, if you use the wrong nozzle, it'd be good if you broke the window or destroyed some flowers.
Mm-hmm.
There's none of that. Like, I was power washing the back garden. I was literally just using the most powerful jet straight through all these flowers. I was like, this is, in real life, this would have just torn those flowers to pieces, or the edging around the lawn. I was like, this would have just, like, there'd have been no edge left to the lawn, and you'd have made more mess than anything else. There's none of that. So it's not quite a full simulator for me.
Yeah, no, that's not good. They should come out with this game on the Switch, though. I mean, and it might be on the Switch, but to use, like, the Joy-Con,
the Joy-Con.
you could just, like, move it up and down. That'd be great. That's what they should do.
Yeah, painting simulator. That's what the Switch needs.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I tell you, it's coming. Don't worry.
Yeah. And then the last game I played was Turbo Rolf Gacing, Turbo Golf Racing. Jeez. um, I think if you like Rocket League, this could really get your attention. If you like Mario Rush Golf, this will get your attention. And what was the other one? I kind of suggested it was a little bit like
Say
Fall
Mario Kart.
Guys. Yeah, like there is a solo campaign which we learned just before we started streaming. I thought I'd give it a real quick look. So there is a solo section to it where you can play the courses, and it's a kind of like beat the clock. You've got to drive this car into the ball, knock the ball through the course into a hole by a certain time, and that's how the multiplayer works. You can collect power ups. So there's a shield, there's a rocket you can get, so you can hit other players to kind of slow them down a little bit. And there's power boosts that you can get, which help. But the cars control the same way as they do in Rocket League. So you've got the whole jump function, boost function. You can kind of keep the car airborne a little bit. And it's all about timing your hits right. So you're flying towards the ball. If you hit the jump button, it like knocks the ball higher into the air, which means it goes for a little bit longer. It was good. The first game I played. I won the first round, came second in the second two rounds, and then won the whole match overall. But yeah, I can see the draw to it. It's probably something while I'm waiting for this evening's podcast to kind of download and ready for me to edit. I might go back and play a little bit, or I might not. I might go and play Hot Wheels. I don't know. I don't know which one I'm going to do.
Yeah. I want to give it a shot. I'll give it a try. But I'm not a huge Rocket League fan, and I was afraid of this. That the concept sounds cool, but in the end, I'd be out. So, but I want to give it a go. I definitely want to try this one.
Yeah, it was fun to watch other people play it because there's like you can easily either really get this game and the controls, or when I was watching other people play it, you can really not get the controls.
Yeah, that would be you watching me right there, not getting the controls. I'm sure. Ninja Lunchbox X asks us if we've tried multiverses yet. I have not got to try that that fighter
I've
yet.
Just seen that there is a Rick and Morty update for it coming soon, I believe, but I'm not sure if it's
the first season got delayed, as I recall. It was supposed to be out here shortly, and it got pushed back. Ninja, let us know, what did you think of it? If you've played it, I have not gotten to it yet. Anything else, Mr. Sean?
No, that's it. I'm just quickly looking through now, but I don't think Multiverse is on Game Pass, which is probably the reason why.
Well, it's free to play though, isn't it? I thought it was free to play.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain.
Then no, I haven't tried it.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I wouldn't mind giving it a go. Yeah, it's free to play, Ninja says. He's here fact checking us. We really appreciate that, Ninja.
Multiverse is free. Cool. I'll set that downloaded.
Go. Wow, well, now you got something new to play.
There is a paid content to it, so.
Well, of course there is. They got to make money somehow, Sean.
Yes, £80 for the premium, £50 for the deluxe. I'll probably just get the free one, which is what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, get the free one first. You got to see. Maybe you get sucked in and you'll buy something. Oh, Ninja says he thinks it's better than Smash Bros. That's big stuff.
Well, I've got two friends playing it at the moment, and looking at who you can have playing it, like the Shaggy, Batman, Adventure Time, Superman, Tom and Jerry. Yeah, I mean, hey, if it plays as good as Smash Brothers, like the controls wise, I think this could be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, I'll download it this week as well and give it a shot. I'll have a little bit more time. But right now,
stay tuned. It's now downloading.
we are going to go into the party chat. Okay, before we get to these questions, we are going to do a little wheel spinner because it is time to pick the winner, which Ninja Lunchbox is a part of. And so is we'll run through them. This is the contest for Fall Guys achievement. Whoever we pick with $15 Xbox card. And then also we're gonna do another spin because there was a tie for who gets the Grand Achievement Hunter pin. Excuse me, let me see. This guy right here. Boom. All right. So, who is the participants?
So we have Hambone Johnny, who has 144 entries, tied with Mr. Ninja Lunchbox, who's in the chat, with 144 entries. Obviously, 5 points of game score gets you 1 entry, so that's how we divide it up. Then you've got Evil Zion from Twitter with 116 entries, and then Mr. Bob Cousy with 20 entries.
Which, when you add it all up, is 424 entries if Sean and I did our math correctly. So, Sean, are you ready?
Yep. I am ready.
I know you can't see this, can you?
Yeah, I can see it on the
all right.
The preview.
All right, I will about to give you a number. 171.
171. Let me go back to the dark. So 171 is Mr. Ninja Lunchbox.
Ninja Lunchbox is the winner. We will get you that code, sir, in the next couple days. There it is. I thought I would show it to you right here just so you knew that we didn't we had the numbers already slated out depending on where you were and when you got us your entry. So there you go. Good job, man. Congrats. Okay, now on to the next one. This is for the pin that I showed you. You can't see this because I'm not showing you. Hey, whatever. This is for the pin. Here we go. Between Hambone and Ninja Lunchbox. Let's explain why this is. Sorry. So the pin is for the person who gets the most achievements, but Ninja Lunchbox and Hambone Johnny tied. So we are going to roll it and see who gets it.
Basically, flipping a coin.
Flipping a coin. That's what we're doing. Ninja gets them both. Look at that.
Oh, no way.
That's awesome, man. It's your lucky day. There you go, pal. We'll reach out so that we can get this to you along with the code. Congrats, man. Congrats. Let me get back to here. There we go. We're back.
Hello.
So, congratulations, Ninja Lunchbox. Okay. It's going on my battle jacket, he said. It's awesome, man. Awesome.
So our first question is from Mr. Zablanc, John from The Dads After Dark, with quite a good question. What are your biggest gaming challenges when it comes to doing a Game Pass podcast? Actually playing Xbox games, Nick?
Yeah. You know, I mean, and we were talking about this. It's funny. We have gone through our thing, right? I mean, I was 30-some games deep in completing games, and then summer came. The kids got off from school. The wife got off from school. There were vacations, and I haven't completed a game since May, probably. I mean, it's just it's how it's been, and what I have played has been Switch because I've been playing it with my kiddos and been playing it on the road and the go, and so yeah. I mean, I've been playing Fall Guys on Xbox, but that's about it.
Yeah. For me, it's been the type of games that have been on there haven't quite ticked the box for me, or tick the box enough for me to be playing them quite often. But then that's the other thing, is that there is, especially when they do a big drop, like, you know, we've got stuff coming soon that we're going to look at the Game Pass showcase. that there's a lot to play. So it's kind of picking and choosing what we want to play personally, because Nick has a different preference to games than I do. So it's kind of, we do a handoff every now and then when there's a big list of games coming out. We kind of talk to each other, like, which one are you interested in, which one are you not interested in, and we'll chat back and forth. And then it's taking the time to tear away from a game that I'm enjoying, like the Hot Wheels DLC. It took some actual effort to come away from that to play the other games that I've played this week. So there's that side of it as well. It's like trying to divvy up your gaming time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's games, and then also we love doing this live. So for me, the other side would be just trying to make sure that all the live pieces work. I mean, we and that everything runs the way it's supposed to, and we hit a button, the right thing happens. Y'all been around long enough to know that it doesn't always happen the way it's supposed to. We do the best we can. And so yeah, but I enjoy the challenge. Like I'm not griping at all. It's a fun challenge to be like, can just the two of us who aren't in media or entertainment or anything like that, can we make something like this work at least somewhat flawlessly? And I think we do a pretty darn good job, Sean.
Yeah.
I mean, we started this
like
gig.
I said,
go ahead, sorry.
So there's always the odd gremlin, but it usually runs pretty much smooth.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we started with Dad Crossing. It was just an audio podcast, and we wanted a little bit more of a challenge, and here we are. With more of
Boy, did we get one.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. The next question comes from Frosticles, who, speaking of Dad Crossing, we had on as a regular on there because he was a big fan of Animal Crossing New Horizons. If you could go back to any console release at the age you are now, 25 for me and 27 for Nick.
Sure, that's right.
Which one? Which one would you go back to experience?
This is a tough one, Frosticles. I mean, like, the Switch is probably my favorite. My favorite Nintendo console. I have nostalgia for the others, but which one do I think is like most awesome? It's the Switch. Now for Xbox, I guess if I had to go back just so I could relive it again, because I've said this on this podcast a lot, some of my favorite memories in gaming come from college dorm days with OG Xbox, putting it connecting all of them via Ethernet cables and playing Halo over multiple like dorm rooms, throwing the cables through the ceiling. I really wouldn't mind reliving that time again. I would not have a problem reliving that. So I'm gonna say, if I got to go back, I'm going back to the OG Xbox to relive that experience once more, because it really is some of my favorite memories.
Yeah, I think for me, it's if you want to talk just purely Xbox, it's the original 360. It's the first wireless console that just, after years of playing like the NES, where you were kind of a meter away from the console, which used to be underneath the TV, to like a meter away from the TV, to then the SNES, the Segas, GameCubes, where the cables were short unless you bought extension cables, which didn't then always work because you were adding extra resistance and length to the cable. So there was always a little bit of lag sometimes. That initial being able to sit the other side of the room from the TV and play a game was just kind of like, wow. To go back and kind of relive that kind of feeling again would be nice at this age. Which for me, the Switch has done recently, because like that was just a complete, again, blown away by the fact that, I mean, I think I've spoken about it before, but I thought the whole handheld to docked to continue playing straight away was a gimmick. I thought, no way, that can't actually happen. But they managed it. That kind of blew me away. And the same with the Meta Quest, the whole VR stuff. Fact that for me, VR originally was everything like wireless trailing from you. It was really like laggy and horrible and gimmicky and wasn't quite great, to being able to play like Resident Evil games and Beat Saber where you're in a really weird universe and you're smashing blocks and things like that, to playing stuff so seamlessly. Those two combined have took me back to the original Xbox 360 days where there was the wireless control, that kind of feeling of wow, this is great. This is the future of where things are going.
Yeah, I still love it when you talk about your 360 days, because for me it was like just an utter painful experience of four red rings of death until I finally gave up and was like, I don't want another one of your stupid consoles. See you later. Just gonna let this rot
See,
here.
I
I
had
know you had nothing.
my day one 360 lasted until
Crazy.
the Xbox One came out. I never had the issue. My dad had it, my brother had it, my uncle had it. Mine just kind of swam through.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. How
I was
many
lucky.
consoles did you have with Red Ring? I think it was four. I'm fairly certain it was four, and then I just gave up. Hence the reason why I have a whole of Xbox with Xbox One. I was just done with it. I've told the story. I was like, I'm not going back. Sorry, that question came from Ninja Lunchbox just now. He asked, how many consoles did you have with Red Ring? I believe it was four. And I mean, Microsoft was great. They kept replacing them, but it was like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. So, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and the last question is another one from Mrs. LeBlanc, John from Does After Dark. What would you say your favorite game genre is right now?
Um, Action RPGs. And I'll tell you why.
Like
Let me,
like
yeah, like
Xenoblade.
Xeno. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because for the longest time, I didn't understand the different, like, until we started this podcast, to be honest. Like, if you would have said, do you like RPGs, I would have normally said, no, I don't like RPGs. Because in my head, in RPG, was it like a JRP, like a turn-based, it was a turn-based video game. Like, I didn't have it all, and I probably still don't, but I didn't have it all straight in my head. And so if it was like an RPG, it was like, well, that's a turn-based video game. And I really don't care for turn-based video games unless it's called Mario and Rabbids. And so
Or Paper
uh
Mario, because that was almost turn based.
that's true. Yeah, I did like that one too. I don't know. Maybe it's got to have Mario in the title. I'm not certain. Yeah. And then when I realized, like, oh, I do like RPGs. I just like action RPGs. Like, it totally changed how I viewed a large swath of video games that come out. So at the moment, I'm kind of catching back up with action RPGs and playing those.
Yeah. For me, it's Metroidvania. I
Yeah.
could literally, I could devour a ton of Metroidvania. If somebody could hand me the way of playing every single Metroid game from start to Dread, I would quite happily sit and play them for hours. I don't know what it is, because usually going backwards and forwards for things annoys me. Like even when I'm running, I don't like running to a point, turning around and running to the same point because I hate repeating the same scenery. But for whatever reason, I could have played Ori in both the Ori games. Like I could start them again now and play them, and I wouldn't like bat an eyelid. So yeah,
That's yeah, I've enjoyed my time with Ori and then Metroid Dread. Played both of those this year. No, Metroid Dread was last year, but I played the second Ori this year. And yeah, I too have been really finding my space with them. And that's another one. I've talked about it. Mario, like, I played Metroid for the first time um right after like playing Mario basically as a kid. And Mario, you run one way, and my brain was just like, they had wired me to do that, and it was like, well, I don't want to go back. I just came from there, like, that's not how obviously they learned nothing from Mario. Like, that was how I was wired, and so I just kind of was like, I'm done. And
yeah.
so yeah.
I think a lot of it for me is the having to remember. So or the use of a map, because you you get to a point in Metroidvania games where you can't get further forward because you either need an access key to get through a certain colored door, or you need a different weapon. Like definitely in Metroid, you need like the missiles, the super missiles. Um, or there's other bits and pieces that you can't quite do because you don't have the ability to do it. That you have to kind of remember. Oh yeah, back in this section over here, the other side of the map, there's there's this bit that I couldn't do. So I now need to
Mhm.
go back through all this, fight all these small little enemies again, do it all over, and get all the way back to be able to do that. And usually that would piss me off, but
Right.
in those games, it really doesn't. So
Yeah. Yeah. Boo's here. Boo's
Boo
Boo's got
agrees.
Boo's got things to say. Yeah. All
We haven't heard
right.
from Boo for a while.
I know. Well, she's feeling unloved. I mean, we had somebody come and like change her litter and feed her and give her water, but basically, basically left her alone for like 4 days, and she's feeling a little unloved.
I've just had the notification that Multiverses has now finished downloading.
Ooh, there
Ooh.
you go. You got something to do while the audio does its thing. Yeah, so anything else before we wrap up the audio version of this podcast? We do have a GPN showcase, by the way.
Yay, it's back because
It's
everything
back.
works.
That's right. Well, we hope so.
No, so as I usually say when we're going to do the Game Pass News Showcase, if you are listening to this via audio, the train's leaving for you guys. Get on, see you later. If not, head over to YouTube and Twitch if you want to catch these. That's where the videos of the Game Pass News Showcase will be. And until next time, for you audio listeners, see you later.